as we started talking about blogging, I have found probably two main objectives that people keep coming back with me with when I'm like, you should start a blog. And they're like, and it's usually one of these two things. Well, I guess it's three things. I either hear I don't have enough time, I don't know how to get started, or I don't know what to talk about in my blogs. So if you are like, I don't have enough time, I'll link some time management and like how I structure my days videos down below. If you're like, I don't know where to start, then I'm gonna link my free email course where I will like send you an email with like some steps and videos and links and everything you need to get started blogging. And if you're like, but Becca, I don't know what to talk about, then you're in the right place, because we're gonna talk about that in this video. I did want to do it here where like I have good lighting and I look kind of like a human. Most of this is probably gonna be at like 5 o'clock in the morning when I will not have good lighting and I will not look like a human. So wanted to pop on here, say hello, tell you what we're doing, and yeah, so I'm gonna kind of like bring you along with me. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Becca. I teach elementary music and I help elementary music teachers with lessons. So I have a blog post, I have YouTube, I have Teachers Pay Teachers store where I help elementary music teachers. That's like my whole overarching thing. On this channel, I teach you how to help other teachers and grow your business in the meantime. And yeah, so I have been blogging since day one. I started my blog in 2017 and I blogged for a full year before I opened my Teachers Pay Teachers store or started my YouTube channel. And I'm so glad I did that because it just gave me such a good, sorry, I'm like, what is that? Ew, okay, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Because it gave me such a good foundation of work ethic, putting in the work, and also not expecting to get money right away, because it definitely didn't make any money at the beginning. But it like really has it just grown from there. And each, you know, I still have blog posts that I wrote 3 and 4 years ago that are still making me money today, and they're still doing well and helping people and directing them to my resources and all those good things. So if you're looking for how to like figure out what to write, we're talking about that in here. When I'm looking at what I'm gonna write, the first place I look is my list. So in my bullet journal, I just keep super simple, like a list. It just says Becca's Music Room, and then I have blog post ideas and I have product ideas. Now, full disclosure, it's like a little sparse right now. It's only got a couple on here, and some of them are seasonal, so they're not even gonna work. But I am looking, and so that's kind of where I start. Anytime I have an idea, I will write it down there, and then I know where to come back to next time. So that's where I'm gonna start. I like to batch my blog posts, so I write a bunch of them at one time. I'll write like basically one a day for like a month, and then I'll have them for months and months scheduled out. It's glorious, I love it. You don't have to do that, especially at first. I would suggest just like write it and then like post it that week. But it's super helpful, especially like years in it, to just like get a lot of content done at one time. So the second place I'm gonna look is in my blog post planner, also just in my bullet journal. You could do it like in a spreadsheet or whatever, but I like my bullet journal. So I just have the dates that I typically publish, and then these are all ones that are already done for the year, and so I need to work on kind of like the next set. So I have a couple that I, instead of writing on my like blog post ideas, I just went ahead and wrote down there. And so I have a couple things on there. I have a couple things on my ideas list. And the next place I'm gonna go is Instagram. I'm actually right now gonna go and post on Instagram and ask people what they need. That is the biggest thing. If you have any sort of audience, whether that's on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, if you have an email list, or even if you just have like music teacher friends down the road that you can call, ask them what they need, because they're gonna be able to tell you. They may not be like, I need a blog post on like 5 ways to do XYZ, but they're gonna be like, I need help with classroom management, or I need help with finding lessons for 5th graders, or I need help with, you know, how to work centers, or, you know, whatever. So just talk to other teachers or talk to your audience. So I'm gonna go post on Instagram. I'm gonna post on my feed and on my stories, and then I'll probably check back with you maybe like tomorrow, maybe the next day. We're gonna see. See you then. Hello, good morning. It's like 2 days later now, I think. And yeah, so I have the answers that people gave me for things that they would like to see, and I'm going to now do something a little bit dangerous. I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'm gonna look through a couple of music teacher Facebook groups and just see what the most recent questions are, and anything that people are asking kind of like over and over is a good sign that that's probably something you should write a blog post about. I don't love Facebook. Honestly, I get on it mostly now to talk to all of you in our Facebook group, but that one's not as scary as, you know, like the really big elementary music one. So I'm gonna hop on there and look at that, and then I'm going to look at my current blog post and see what is performing the best and kind of see if I can do something similar to whatever is performing well now. And then the third thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look through my products and I'm going to see if there's anything I can think of that would go off of my products. So for example, if I have a Star Bright lesson pack, which is a song, so I could do like songs for quarter and eighth note, or I could do songs for So Me and Law, or I could do, you know, songs for first grade, or I could do just about Starlight, Star Bright, you know, 6 different ways you can do Starlight, Star Bright, or like all of those different kinds of things. So these are all kind of like places you can gather inspiration. You don't have to do all of them. Frankly, I don't usually do all of them, but for the purpose of this video, I wanted to give you lots of different options. And then secondly, you don't have to do them in this order. So you might want to start with your products. You might want to start with Facebook groups. You can start however you would like to. So there you go. Those are really like the best ways that I would say to get information. Check your list that you have been keeping of things that you wanted to do. Ask your audience, ask other people's audiences, aka Facebook groups. If you don't want to go on Facebook, you can go on Instagram and go on like a bigger sellers page and look at the questions that they are being asked in like the comments. The other thing you could do, look through your products and look through if you have blog posts already, then you can see like what's doing well and kind of what you can do similar to that. So that is my, those are my little tips. So I'm gonna do those and then I'm going to schedule them out and we shall see. I'm thinking that I might try every other week for the next few months, especially because it's going over summer. And also just because I have like hundreds of blog posts. We shall see. So when it comes to basing these off of products, I literally just came to my store and started scrolling down. Also, look, my jazz bundle has surpassed What a Wonderful World for first place. Interesting. And so I was like, okay, so I actually this week, this one is going up, a blog post about What a Wonderful World. I have a blog post about Kaboom. I have one about Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. I have one about I Know a Shy Fellow. I need to update the Irish music, but I'm not going to do that until like March of next year or maybe February. But I don't have a blog post about Drum Dream Girl. So I can do a blog post about Drum Dream Girl, and then I could also do like my favorite Hispanic books, or books for Hispanic Heritage Month, or books about instruments, or books for lower grades, or all of those things could go along with that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as I'm going through and trying to decide. I might do like a favorite instruments of the orchestra lessons. I don't know. I really need to update some of these covers. Like, that looks stupid. That looks even worse. Alas, there we are. So a lot of these I don't have one for Zinzins and a violin, but I also don't feel like I have that many things to say about it. But like I do have one about this. So that's just what I'm looking at, is whether you can do something specific or kind of more general with like, I have a blog post about this, but I could do, you know, my favorite rhythm games. Actually, that's a really good idea. We might be doing that. Alas. Okay, so now I have a pretty good list of ideas, and I have a couple more things that I could do off of that. So next up, I'm gonna flip over, and I just have this super fancy page with like all the dates on it. And I'm going to go ahead and schedule them in. So for now, I'm just gonna do like, really? It's not a very good angle of you. That's better. I'm gonna do every other week, and then I'll see if I have too many ideas, or if I do want to do every other week, or if I want to keep it every week. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so I have a tentative schedule now. I don't have to stick to this 1,000,000%, but it's a good starting point at least. And already have them scheduled out until next February, like at least decided on. As long as I decide that I like the every other week, I might switch back to every week. We shall see. But this stuff is really, really helpful because now when I go to write something, I know what I need to write. I know what order I need to write them in, and I already know what I'm going to schedule them for. So it just takes so much of the guesswork out as opposed to just having a list of ideas, which is fine. But if you already know, like, this is the one I'm writing because this is the next one coming out, it makes life a lot easier. I do batch my blog posts, so what I have been doing is writing one every day for basically a month, and it's about 16 posts, which lasts me then 4 months. So I'm not sure exactly how I'll do it since I just switched it up and changed my schedule. So I might still write 16 and it just lasts for 8 months. That's a really long time. Might do more. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Other reasons it's really important to schedule them out is because, one, when you start scheduling them out, you start seeing the progression of the year, and so you're like, oh hey, you know, this month is Hispanic Heritage Month, so I want to make sure that I have, you know, relevant content around that time. Or like back to school, I need to make sure I have relevant content for back to school and stuff like that. You can see it as you're like mapping it out on the calendar. And then the other thing is that if you're doing roundup posts, so posts where you're talking about a couple of different things like my favorite rhythm games, then you'll notice like, oh hey, if I'm going to talk about my favorite rhythm games, I might need to talk about this one in a separate post. So I just did that. I'm going to do a post of my favorite lessons for law, which is like a melody. It's, you know, how high or how low something is. And so in that, I know I'm gonna want to talk about my brand new Lucky Lemons digital board game for law. And so I was like, that one needs its own post because it's much more in depth. And so if I do a post about that, then I can also incorporate it into the roundup. So I like to have those like kind of a mixture of here's one specific lesson and then kind of like a roundup of lessons. And also if you can have those like talking about them back to back like that, that's gonna help too. I find that does really well because then people see it like a second time, they're like, oh hey, maybe I really should go buy that if it's a product. So there you go. But if you are worried about coming up with ideas, follow the steps from this video. Usually the problem people run into with coming up with ideas for content is just that they're thinking too hard or they're not thinking hard enough. So either you're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, or you're just not even like sitting down to do this. This took 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, plus a few extra minutes to post that thing on Instagram. So like it hasn't been a lot of time, but now I already know like what we're gonna do until next February, and currently it's April. So basically for the next year, we're set. So really highly recommend doing that. And even if you aren't gonna batch your blog posts, which you totally don't have to, I would suggest batching your content decisions. So sitting down and saying like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do at least for the next month or the next 2 months or something like that. So I used to do it like monthly, but now I do it, you know, longer term. And yeah, so highly recommend that. At least monthly, decide like, okay, this is all I'm writing this month, so that you're in a lot better position. So it's easier than you think, and once you start writing, you'll come up with more ideas. You always get the most ideas for writing when you're already writing, so make sure you have that notebook handy so that you can write down all your ideas and you'll be good. I hope this video was helpful to answer that question of what the heck do I actually write about. If you have questions, leave them down below and I will link the free how to get started email course that you can grab below. And yeah, have a great day.